So the first question, we have x plus 5 within brackets times x plus 7 within brackets. So firstly, we do this x times this x. So that should give you x squared, because x and x are the same, so it's a squared. Then you should do x times plus 7, which will give you plus 7x. Then you have to do plus 5 times x, which should give you plus 5x. Then lastly you have to do plus 5 times plus 7, which should give you plus 35. But now you have to simplify the equation. So there are no other x squared, so you keep the x squared the same, but there are two number x's. So you have to add this, or because both of them are plus. So that should give you plus 12x. Then you have plus 35. You can't add that to anything, so it'll stay plus 35. And that is the final answer. So for question 2, it is pretty similar to the first question. You again have x times x, which will still give you x squared. Then you have x times plus 5, which will also give you plus 5x. But now you have plus x times 3, that will just give you plus 3x. And then you have plus 3 times 5, which will give you plus 15. So now, again, you have to simplify this. Again, there are no other x squared, so it'll just stay an x squared there. But these two numbers can be simplified again, giving you plus 8x. And 15 cannot be simplified, so you just put it on the back. And that is, again, the final answer. So question 3 is quite similar, but now there is a negative, minus 6, at the end of the second bracket. But negatives aren't that difficult. You'll see when I get there. So first we start with x times x still. And x times x still equals x squared. But now we do x times minus 6. And actually it's not that hard because it just gives you minus 6x. Then you have plus 3 times x equals plus 3x. Then you have plus 3 times minus 6, which will give you minus 18. So again, only the minus 6x and the plus 3x can be simplified. The x squared and the minus 18 cannot be simplified. So simplifying minus 6x plus 3x will just give you minus 3x, and then you just bring the 18 and you put minus 18, and that is the final answer. So question 4 is very similar to question 3, but it has the negative number in the first bracket instead of in the second bracket. But it starts as usual. X times x. Well, that's x squared. And then you have x times plus 2 plus 2x. But then you have minus 9 times x. The minus is very important because otherwise it'll be plus 9x, which will be a very different answer. So it has to be minus 9 times x. And the answer will just be minus 9x. And then you have to do minus 9 times plus 2, which should give you minus 18. Now you have to simplify it. So, as usual, x squared cannot be simplified. But the plus 2x and the minus 9x can. So it will be minus 7x. Then take the plus 18 and make it, minus 18 and make it minus 18. And this is the final answer. Question 5. It is basically the same except we have two negative numbers. One in the first equation and one in the second equation. Well, it starts as usual. X times x, which equals x squared. Then we have x times minus 9, which will just give you minus 9x. Then we have minus 7 times x, which will give you minus 7x. Then we have minus 7 times minus 9. So two negatives multiplied by each other will give you a positive answer. And 7 times 9 equals 63. So it'll be plus 63. Okay, so we have to simplify this equation still. We have to simplify the minus 9x and the minus 7x especially. Nothing else can be simplified. So again you have x squared, but then you have minus 16x from the minus 9 and the minus 7x, then you have plus 63. And that will actually be your final answer.